Serpent Mound. Okay, we have an excerpt up top. Always read the excerpt. The Great Serpent Mound, located in Adams County, Ohio, is a human-made mound of earth that researchers believed was created between 300 BC and AD 1100 by an indigenous culture. Okay, so Ohio, 1846. Brush Creek stood low when the museum men came with their measuring tapes and sketchbooks. So why would museum men come with tapes and sketchbooks? Perhaps for the mound. They wanted to somehow take measurements of the mound or sketch it. It was winter, fringed with ice. The creek double-backed on itself as if it had forgotten something. Pa was in Cincinnati, or else on his way home, so Ma told me to lead the men into the marshy low grounds. It being winter, there was little underbrush to speak of. In the summer, there would have been briars, poison ivy, biting flies. I listened for the swish of a beaver's heavy tail, the chitter of a chickadee, or the cry of a hawk. But the winter silence of the creek pressed down on all of us like a weight. Okay, so normally it's a very lively, active environment in the summer or the spring, but in the winter, everything's kind of dead. There's no sort of underbrush or animals or crickets or chickadees or anything like that. Okay. The tone here, by the way, pressed down on us like a weight. It's almost oppressive a little bit. The humps in the ground were all but invisible until you're right up on them. The figure was even less obvious. The sinuous body, the tail coiled 3 times around, and at the other end, the mouth wide open. Okay, so what are they describing here? Sounds like a serpent or a snake. In the summer, the creek bottom was crowded with so much life you could trip over the ridges of earth before you saw anything at all. In winter, you could climb a tree and get some idea of the whole thing. The serpent's body undulating, slithering silently across the ancient earth. So, okay, we have a colon here. So this is describing or explaining what the whole thing would look like. Again, like a snake. By the way, notice the text. It's in the shape of a snake here. It's winding back and forth, just like the serpent's body might be doing. Okay, let's keep going. At the mouth end, there was an oval mound, as if the snake were about to swallow an egg, as snakes sometimes did in our rickety hen house. My pa always said, or as if swallowing the sun, one of the museum men suggested, taking notes with his quill pen, an old-style inkhorn slung at his side. I liked that, swallowing the sun, just the sort of thing a snake might do. Okay, so it looks like at the mouth end, the snake is swallowing an egg. The museum man sort of has a different view. It's swallowing the sun. When later I told my sister Ruth, she disagreed. It is singing to the sun, she insisted. That is why its mouth is wide open. So the sister has a very different interpretation or opinion of what's going on there. She said, sometimes I think I hear it on summer nights. Not swallowing, singing. Okay, so this poem is basically about a creek. It's man-made, centuries ago. And it's winding. It's in the shape of a snake. And we have some museum men who are coming to take a look at it, perhaps measure it. And we're getting a description of what it would have been like in the summer. It would have been active, lively, bugs, more brush, underbrush, everything. In the winter, not so much the case. In fact, you could go up on a tree and get a sort of clearer view of everything. Okay. And at one end, the mouth end, there's some different interpretations of what the snake is doing. Is it swallowing an egg? Is it swallowing the sun? Or is it singing to the sun? Okay. It's, a little kind of melancholy. There's some oppressive nature or ideas or feelings, I should say here, because it's wintertime. It's not summer at this point of the poem. It's narrated first person by somebody who's leading the men into the actual Brush Creek to see the mound. Okay, I think we have enough that we can start to tackle the questions.